Hello, I'm Josh Wardrop. I am the owner of Arcknight, and we have made a card game called StupidFight, and I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the rules so that you do not need these terrible rules cards. They're printed way too small, but they exist, so maybe that's a starting point. There's reference cards. These are pretty useful. They can go down the list of all the possible icons that could appear, but in general, if you don't know what an icon does, just make it up. Most of them are self-explanatory or obvious, but you might want the reference card to verify, like, does that mean he does this or this? So they're there for you. This game has a deck of 220 cards. All you do is you divide these cards up among your number of players. If you have 4 players or 5 players or 3 players, you just break them up. If you want to have a faster game, you cut some of the cards and put them in the trash to start. Otherwise, you have the full deck. We recommend this is the exact right size deck for 4 players to have a decent sized game. So if you have 4 players, just slice them up. What we do is we pick a player, we give them about 10 seconds to cut the deck into 4. So let's say they do this, and then we say you're out of time, and then they pick last. And obviously if they are bad at splitting cards, it becomes very funny. The number of cards you have is the right number of cards for 4 players. So if you have 4 players, just split them into 4. The best thing to do is to have one person give them about 10 seconds to split the deck into 4, and if they're fumbling and they go, done. Right, you make them pick last, so obviously you'll pick this deck and you'll leave them with this deck, and then they're going to die very quickly because your deck size is your life. So you're going to lose cards throughout this game based on damage you take, and you throw the cards in the trash, so if you have no cards, you're doomed. That's a very fun way because it incentivizes players to play fast, and it incentivizes them to split the decks as evenly as possible. This is my life, this is my deck. Okay. The way we determine who goes first, everybody flips their deck over and looks for a torso. And again, the last person to find a torso is going to go last. So I'm going to find this torso card, I'm going to put it down. So I'm this buff guy. This person would have flipped their deck at the same time and be looking as fast as they could for their torso. And when they find a torso, they're going to put it down. So the game is going to be like this. A number of people each have their own torso, and you're going to look at your torso to determine what colors you're immune to damage from and what colors you're weak to damage from. Everything else is the same. They're just normal. And this person's weak to 2 colors and immune to 1 color. I'm sorry, backwards. Immune to 2 colors and weak to 1 color. They might be a little power up on the top left. Like in this case, the guy has immunity to steal, meaning they can't be stolen from. And we tried to make these icons as obvious as possible. This says no steal, therefore you cannot steal. We're not trying to trick you with these icons. We just made them as clear as we could, but some of them still don't make sense, so these little rules videos will help. On your turn, you draw 5 cards. So if no one has taken a turn yet, no one has a hand. Let's say I go first. I'm going to draw my first 5 cards. So if I'm attacking someone else, they don't have cards right now. You're going to get your hand. You can do whatever you want with your hand. There is no play order. There's no limits to how many cards you can have in your hand. There's no timing restrictions. You just do whatever you want to do. There are a few rules that incentivize you playing smarter or playing faster, but you can break those rules as well. So looking at this, I've got a pair of pants. I'm going to put my pair of pants on. And I have got an arm. I'm going to put that arm on. Now you do have to put the arms on the correct side of your body. You do have to put legs on your bottom, and you have to put a head on the top. You don't need all of your body parts, but the other cards in play are punches, kicks, headbutts. They're called kung fu cards, and they are generally white. Now a white card is going to require you to have the appropriate limb. So I want to kick right now. If I were to kick, I need legs. In this case, I do have legs, so it's going to work perfectly. Now when you kick, you look at your legs and look at the little color. This says I'm going to kick for green. Unfortunately, in this case, my opponent is immune to green. So even if I were to kick him, it'd be pointless. And I know you can't see these colors in the video, but when you're playing, it'll make sense. So if I kicked him, it would do nothing, so I'm going to hold my kick. This I can dodge with. I need legs to dodge. And other than that, I'm ready. So I'm going to end my turn. This person would take his turn. He'd now draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'd have his hand, and he'd do the things he wants to do with his hand. He'd play an arm. He'd play a head. He'd play legs. This guy's ready to go now. He can headbutt. He can kick. He can punch. Now, this head says no headbutt, meaning he actually cannot headbutt with this head because he's got a floppy hat. But he has one of the best talk bubbles in the game. To do a talk bubble, it's called a taunt. You need a card that looks like this. It's a talk bubble card. It lets you do whatever the talk bubble in your head says to do. In this case, it says I am the law. I take your hand and I put it in my hand. So if he were to do that to me, here's my hand of cards. He would have his hand of cards. He would play a talk bubble card, and then he would just take my entire hand. And now he'd have a giant hand and I'd have no hand. Okay, in this scenario, we're going to show you basic damage. This is person 1, this is person 2. Person 1 is going to attack. He has 3 punches. Okay? So, punches normally do 2 damage. Kicks and headbutts normally do 5 damage. If they're weak to the damage, everything doubles, and 2 doubles mysteriously to 5, while kicks and headbutts double to 10. That way your math is really quick and easy. You can count 5, 5, 5, 5, 10, 10. It's really simple. Now in this case, he is going to be punching him. He only has 1 arm, so he has to pick red. When he punches for red, this guy is neither immune or weak to red. So he can punch and do 2 damage. This guy will take 2 cards and throw them in the trash. He can punch again, 2 more damage. He can punch again, 2 more damage. It's that simple. As long as he keeps punching the person, he keeps doing 2 damage. This person keeps taking 2 cards and throwing them in the trash. Now, to speed things up, and also because there's a mechanical reason, we're going to do them all at once. Punch, punch, punch. This is called a combo. He's going to lay down 3 punches all at once. This person's going to see 3 damage. 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, and you go, okay, I'm going to do 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Saves a little bit of time rather than doing them one at a time. But the benefit to doing a combo is if there's any special icons, the entire combo gets the icon. So in this case, because he has a steal on this punch, if he just punched by itself, he'd steal 2. But if he punches with all 3 at the same time, he's going to steal 6. So 2, 4, 6 damage, because he's not weak and he's not immune. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When it's steal, it goes right into the opponent's deck. It doesn't go in the trash, it goes into their deck. So that's a basic combo. The other thing you can do is you can get a punch break. So if he were to wait until he had a punch break, he could say punch, 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 punch. Now, it's going to be, instead of 2, 2, 2 damage, he adds another 2 damage, but now it's punch break, which means the entire combo gets punch break, and now he's weak to everything. So now it's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20 cards, and he's going to steal all of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and he gets all of it. So there's some major reason why you want to wait until you have several Kung Fu cards and put them together into a combo to get more out of it. Scenario number 2. This guy's going to attack this guy. Now, he has a number of punches and kicks. If he were to headbutt, he's going to headbutt for purple, and this guy's immune to purple. So that will do 0 damage. Instead of 5, it goes down to nothing. If he were to kick, he can choose between purple and blue, and the opponent is immune to purple and weak to blue, so he will absolutely choose blue. So if he kicks him, instead of 5 damage, he's weak to it, he's going to do 10 damage. So that's 10 damage. He's going to pick kick, so that's 20 damage. Pick kick, that's 30 damage. And that headbutt's going to do nothing for 0 damage. So that's 10, 20, 30 damage, and this is worthless. Because he's picking blue, 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 and there's no headbutt to pick because it's purple. But if he had this card in his hand, this is very similar to the punch break, but it stays on the opponent. You put this over the torso. It's a torso break. That is now his torso. Until he plays a new torso, that's the torso he has. This represents that he has no special powers, that he is immune to nothing, and that he's weak to all 5 colors. Now, if he had a shield or a pair of pants that gave him an immunity, he'd have the weakness and the immunity, and immunity trumps. So he would still have that immunity. But in this case, he's got nothing like that. I am going to headbutt, kick, kick or headbutt, kick, 10, 20, 30, 40 damage. So he's going to go 40 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. They're all in the trash. The punch cards and kick cards and all that you use also go in the trash. So your trash heap is going to get very big, very fast, and your decks are not going to last long when someone hits you for 20, 30 damage at a time. You'll also notice that means that there's just not enough cards in play for you to get very far if you're punching for 2s. Generally speaking, that is a bad thing. You should not be punching for just 2 damage. You're losing 1 card and they're losing 2 cards, and you haven't gained anything. If you're using punches, you should almost always wait until they're weak. At least you're getting 5 to 1. But kicking for 5 or headbutting for 5 when they're not weak is pretty okay. You kick them 1 card to 5 cards, that's pretty standard. Let's talk about taunts. This is a taunt card. It means that you're doing the talk bubble of whatever your head is. So if you look at the talk bubble, It's a black card, which means you play it. It's not Kung Fu, you just play it. If this person were to do this talk bubble, it says, I take your hand and put it in my hand. So if I have a hand of cards and I'm waiting and you do this talk bubble, I just take my entire hand and put it in your hand, not in your deck. Say he had some cards, he just gets all the cards. This could make your hand explode in size. Sometimes someone will be standing around, sitting there with 10, 15, 20 cards. You talk bubble them with the cop, you take their entire hand, now you have 35 cards. That totally happens. And usually it means you then play a bunch of attacks and win the game. If this person were to do the talk bubble, he plays it. It says rip off someone's arm and put it into your hand, which means you rip off their arm and you put it into your hand of cards. So now you can immediately play this. When you play a card over another card, you just put it on top, or when you get around to it, clean up the old card. Doesn't really matter. The old card is no longer in play, and the new card is now in play. This is a rip card. It's rip someone's head or their legs. And what we mean by ripping it is we just mean taking it off their body. So if I were to rip this person's legs off, I just rip his legs off. This card and the rip card just go in the trash. As quickly as you can, just process it. There's very little they can do about it unless they're going to use a special card to stop it. And really, there's only one card that does that, and that's the Runaway. So normally, I play rip, I pick your head, and I just take it, throw it in the trash. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to respond to. You just get it done. Special card. This card is rare. It looks like a giant exclamation point, and it's going to activate your special power. A few cards, like this right here, have an exclamation point with a rule inside of it. I'm going to try and get it in front of the camera so you can see it. There's way too much glare. Anyway, I'll read it to you. You may get an exclamation point on your card, which does nothing. And you might get an exclamation activator, which does nothing on its own. But once you have both, you may play this card and activate one of your specials. And you do whatever it says to do. They're wildly different, and they do what they say. This one says, headbutt every opponent and rip their heads off and put the heads in your hand. So, in this case, since I'm headbutting every opponent and I have a red head, I will actually calculate the damage of a headbutt on every opponent. They might be immune to it, they might take 5 damage, they might take 10 damage. In this case, he's got a torso break, so he's going to take 10 damage, and then I'm going to rip his head off, and his head goes in my hand. Now the special's resolved. There's no way to dodge specials, you can't run away from specials, there's nothing that stops a special. It is supposed to be its own thing, it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now once it resolves, I can now place his head or do something else with it, it's fine. If he were to activate the special, an entirely different thing would happen. He would activate it, and he's got a special card here. It says, put any body parts from play into your deck. Now, you might not know what a body part is, but a body part is basically any head, arm, leg, anything. Now, this person, he can take any of them, put them in the deck. He can take his own card, put it in the deck because he wants to play a new one. But generally, when you play this, you take the other people's body parts and put them in your deck. That's what it says. Put any body parts from play into your deck. And you can pick all of the opponent's body parts. All of your opponent's body parts. You just get rid of all of them. Because that's what it says it does. Some of them are ridiculous, and that's obviously the point. Let's talk about the Runaway card. This is a very rare defensive card. There's not very many in the deck. If you have this, you should hold on to it and wait for the ideal opportunity to run away. When an opponent attacks with a single card, normally you could play a dodge and dodge that one card. If they attack with multiple cards, it's much harder to do anything about it. But a Runaway will always work, and the Runaway will run away the entire combo. So in this case, because he had a punch break, he thought it was a great idea to pile all of his cards together. So he's going to punch me, kick me, kick me, kick me, kick me, doing 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50 damage. He's hoping this kills me because all I have is a torso, but I still have a sizable amount of cards. He lays this thing down, and if I have a Runaway card, I run away the entire stack. All in the trash. It just solves the problem. Now, Runaways can also be used, because obviously that's the ideal, is to prevent a ton of damage. You can also run away basically anything that you don't want to deal with. So if he were to taunt me with a cop head and take my hand, I could run away, because I don't want to be taunted. If he were to kick me, I could run away just a single kick. If he were to do some special effect, like place a torso break on me, he goes, I'm going to place this on me. I go, no, I run away, so I don't get torso broke. You can run away any single little interaction no matter what it is, as long as you say, hey, I'm running away from that thing, that interaction. But you cannot run away a special. Nothing you can do can ever stop a special. Cleanup. Basically because we want the game to play fast, and some things will take cards and throw them in the trash, or take someone's head and throw it in the trash, or you want to place a new body part over an old body part. If you want to play a new torso, or you want to play a new hat, you just do it. Sometimes that will leave a card in play that is not supposed to be there. Like in this case, the old torso is still sitting there. Just at your leisure, take those cards and throw them away. You should play them as fast as you can. If you have a new torso, just put it down. It's not a big deal. Put them down. You have new legs, just put them down. Keep the game going. Just clean up later at your leisure, because that's not really there. Okay, here's a playthrough. Both players have found their torso, and play begins. This player is going to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 2 heads to choose from. Choosing the red head would be silly because he's immune to red damage. Choosing the purple head is also silly because he's also immune to purple damage. So in this case, I don't think which color he picks is going to matter. But as I say that, I notice he does have a torso break. So, because I can't punch right now, there's no reason to even torso break right now, so I'll just end my turn. This person goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in my hand. I have a head, and I can go to town right now. So every headbutt is going to do 10 damage to this person, but any card he has can dodge. Normally you need legs to dodge, but you don't need legs to dodge if it's another function that's causing you to dodge. In this case, the torso is dodging. Now this has a great power. This is as long as I'm punching, you can't dodge. So I'm going to try and make this to maximum effect. And this taunt says each opponent must give you a card because it's not fine. We will end our turn. We're going to wait for an arm, and I'm going to make a combo there. Okay, this turn he's going to go. He's going to add 5 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With these 5 new cards, I have a bow. I have a shield. I'm now immune to the blue color that I was weak to. That's always really good when you can immune over your weakness. It also says I can play punch cards as dodges, and that if I hit you for green, I chop your head off. That's all around not bad. I am now going to torso break him, so he is weak to all colors. I'm going to punch and headbutt, and punch again. So, my punches are green, but he's weak to everything. My headbutt is red, he's weak to everything. So I'm doing 10, 15, 20 damage, and he cannot dodge any of it. So 20 damage to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Goes in the trash. These cards go in the trash, and this person ends his turn. The dodge is not helpful. He doesn't have legs, and there's no reason to switch out his other body parts. This is this guy's deck. Alright, this person draws 5 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to see if we can build that combo we saw coming. We need an arm. There we go, we got an arm. Okay, so first I'm going to place the torso over my old torso. That gets rid of that. Then I know I want to be able to punch and kick and headbutt, but I needed an arm, and I got an arm. So I can pick red or yellow. He's weak to red. We're going to play red, even though with the punch break he'll be weak to everything. So it doesn't exactly matter for this turn, but we're hoping we've got the perfect combo and we're going for a kill. So this wizard has an annoying power of saying any card can dodge and any punch card can dodge, which means normally if I were to attack him 3 times, I will simply dodge 3 cards. Now if I were to lay down this big combo and punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, he would dodge the break, and then I'm not weak to everything. The only way I'm getting around that is because this torso says, as long as I'm punching, you can't dodge. And I have at least 1 punch, so I'm punching, I'm making a giant combo, you can't dodge any of it, and it all breaks. So here we're looking at 10, 20, 30, 35, 40 damage to this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm going to throw away these 3 cards. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. That's 40 cards. All this is trashed, trashed, trashed. So both these players have gotten off a great combo really early, and they're both very close to death. This is his one remaining card. This is his one remaining card. Actually, he's out of cards. Okay, back to player one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Body parts do not help me. I do have a punch break, which will do a little bit of damage, which will be pretty good. If I can get a second punch card before I die, that would be great. I want to leave my shield on, and I want to see what else I can do. I definitely need more immunities, so I'm going to do this. So now I'm immune to green, red, and blue. I'm immune to that. He can still punch and kick me to death, but hopefully he doesn't get any more punches and kicks. So I am just going to end my turn. This guy's going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has a punch, but he's immune to it. He has a punch, but he's immune to it. But I have a rip. So I'm going to rip. What to rip? Even if I were to rip his shield off, he still can't take... I don't have a blue weapon. I can do that for 4. He's so low, I'm going to do a bad play that's still a potentially good play. First, I'm going to rip your arm off so it's a shield. This is gone. That way he can't dodge with that card. And then I'm going to replace my own arm. And we can, like I said, clean up. Get around to clean these up whenever you want to. These cards, I'm just going to hold in my hand. And now I'm going to punch him twice. You would not normally ever punch for just 2 damage, but because it's stealing and because we both have so few cards, this is probably worth it. That's a 4-point steal. This is player 1. He has no way to dodge it. He has no way to prevent it. So he's going to take 4 damage, and it's all going to be stolen. He's going to throw his junk out. 1, 2, 3, and the top card is 4, and it's going to go onto the opponent's deck. And these cards are trashed, and this guy ends his turn. Back to this guy. He draws 1 more card, a top bubble, and a punch break to get through this many cards. He's not realistic he can win, but to do everything he can, search through your deck for any 2 arms. That is not going to help him. He has no deck, but he can just go ahead and punch for green, do 5 damage. This guy is going to throw away his 2 limbs. That's 1, 2, and he's going to throw away 3, 4, 5. That's 5 damage in the trash, 5 in the trash. This player has nothing else he can do, so he's just going to pray he doesn't die. And this guy's going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He needs something to do a little bit of damage. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 cards left. You don't actually have to kill the torso. So 3 damage would kill him. And he can kick for purple. That's 5 damage. He dies. It's game over.